Yes, sir.
There we go. Hello, my name is Jack Posey,
Ahmad Shaw.
and this is the accountability call. So what we're going to do first is just kind of introduce ourselves, give you a little bit of background. I'll start with my guy, Ahmad.
Before we do that, let's just get into the accountability call. What is it? What can we expect? What do we do? How do we do it? Why do we do it? All that. So, what is the accountability call? I would say, when you have, let's say you got to go to work in the morning, you got to wake up, and you got to have that alarm set. This accountability call is that alarm that keeps you in check, wakes you up, and it puts you on the right track. Except, the alarm is only one-sided. Now in this talk, it's two-sided, right? I can give Jack or whoever's watching, I can give them my voice, how I'm feeling, and then he'll give me back feedback in order for me to move accordingly and move the correct way. So what is the accountability call? That's what it is. Why did we start doing it? I'll let you take that one, Jack.
So give you a little bit of background. Ahmad and I started doing this accountability call back when COVID-19 first started. We're two college kids, and we both, play sports. And when we got sent home, I heard this idea from a mentor of mine who I look up to a lot, and I reached out to him because I knew he was the most dedicated person. If I wanted to accomplish my goals, he was going to be the guy who was going to keep me in line, set me straight, and keep pushing me to be the best person and best athlete I could be. So going all the way back to about March or April, we started calling every morning at a certain time shift or whatever, but we call at 7 a.m. every morning and just bounce ideas off each other on how to grow and how to become not just better athletes, but better people in our lives and to accomplish our goals, whether that be on the field, in the classroom, or anything else. So we hold each other accountable and we set our goals. And the thing is, we call every morning to make sure we're staying on that path. And if we fall off a little bit, one way or the other, get distracted, that's what I'm for and that's what Ahmad's for. Just to make sure that we stay true to our goals and nothing distracts us too much.
Exactly. And one thing I'd like to add to that, if you're thinking about doing these calls, thinking about like you're interested or whatever, that's a good thing. But don't try and be interested in somebody that's gonna fake, right? Don't try and want to work with somebody that's on one day and off the other day. It only works when both of you are on consistently every day. Like me and Jack, we've never missed a call since March, have we?
Only Sundays. We take Sundays off.
Exactly. Only Sundays off. So if you want to start this, and we're going to show you what it is, we're going to dive deep into it going forward. But if you want to be a part of this kind of accountability call, my one suggestion to you would be pick the right person, right? Make sure you get somebody that's truly invested in helping you first before helping themselves, right? Because without that, you both won't grow, okay? So that being said, let me just give you some more background about myself, and then we'll get straight into it. So, like you said, my name is Ahmad Shaw. I'm a football player at St. Vincent College. I play corner, class of 2023, engineering major, also a prefect in the freshman dorm. So prefect in the freshman dorm, basically, it's like an RA. Our word for it at our school is prefect, but it's an RA. So I oversee about 17, 18 other guys, make sure they're all good. Other than that, I'm just trying to reach my goals. I have a lot of high standards set for myself, and, we're going to start hitting goals down one day at a time. So, hey, Jack.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, my name is Jack Posey. I'm a sophomore at Penn State on the men's lacrosse team, and I'm not an RA. I'm in my room. But I'm an aspiring business major. I'm not sure on my degree yet, But that's just something that really interests me in talking to people and building connections. And it's definitely something that I've been working on, and it's something that I've had a lot of help with from Ahmad as well. But both from Virginia, and we're like Ahmad said, we have really high goals, and each and every day, we attack little and smaller goals so we can eventually kind of get to that point, accomplish that. So, like I said, I'm a sophomore at Penn State, men's lacrosse team. I'm a defender, and I'm excited to go.
Let's go. All right. Now that we got the little introductions out the way. So part of this journey, part of this being true to us, I'll speak for myself. There was a point during quarantine, right? And Jack hadn't hit me up right at the beginning of quarantine. He hit me up maybe a week or 2 weeks into quarantine. And, for me, it was always talking about my goals, right? It was always, oh, whoopty whoop whoop, I want to do this, this, and this. But it was never, okay, I want to do this, this, and this. And then behind the scenes, I'm doing this, this, and this, right? It was never that for me yet, right? So when Jack called me, he's like, hey, bro, you want to do this accountability call thing? I'm like, you know what, might as well, because I know Jack's somebody that's going to work, right? So I'm not afraid. I'm never going to back down from no type of challenge. So I'm like, let's do it. And along that road of however long quarantine was, 6 months or something like that, right? Within that first, I want to say 2 months, I found myself feeling like, hey, I'm saying all these goals, but I'm not really achieving them, right? And I had to dig deep. I had to think to myself, who is Ahmad Shaw? Why is Ahmad Shaw not getting everything done, right? And I had to look into my own self and figure out what I can change, right? And for me, what it was my name. Not that I changed my name, but I changed the meaning to my name, right? Obviously, my first name, Ahmad, it means praiseworthy. That's something not a lot of people know, but it means praiseworthy. And that was something coming into this accountability call that I had already knew, right? I was like, okay, first name Ahmad, that means praiseworthy. But my last name, that was something I had no idea what that meant to me, right? I had no clue what it was. So in order for me to figure out who I completely was, not just the first part of me, but the second part of me, probably the more important part of me, right? I had to figure out what my last name meant. So it was one night, I hop on the phone, I'm calling my grandpa, my aunt, my dad, my mom, I'm calling everybody. And I'm trying to figure out, hey, Dad, what does my last name mean? Hey, Grandpa, what does my last name mean? Hey, Auntie, what does it mean, right? And the whole overlapping theme of all those calls was Shaw means it means when you put your mind to something and you say you're going to do something, that's what you're going to do, right? And I'm thinking, I'm like, okay. Now I'm trying to actually put that in the real world reality. Have I seen that in my name from everybody else in my family? And I'm thinking, I'm like, look at my dad, for example, Army Ranger, doctor, failed college, went back to college, got his degree, right? Got recycled in Ranger school or whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, boom. That's one person that really stays true to the name, right? Now I look at my mom, okay. 16 years old, she went to Cornell. 16 years old.
Hold on, I didn't even know that. What?
Yeah, 16 years old.
Yeah, how you not tell me that, but then you wait until 6 months, you don't tell me that? Bro.
This is everything that I had to do to figure out who Ahmad Shaw was, bro.
All right, keep it coming. Let's go. This is
16 years. 16 years old. All right, 16 years old. She goes to Cornell. Bang. Unfortunately, my parents are divorced, right? So now, I don't know how old she was, but she's raising 2 kids by herself, working 2 jobs, getting it done, right? So bang, okay. There goes my name and my mom, right? She's proven that last name. So now I'm like, whoa. Now I look at my brother, and we're gonna keep it all the way 100. My brother was never somebody that really liked school, right? He was always, I'm gonna do the bare minimum and I'm gonna get by. And you know what? He did, right? But if I look at my brother now to compare it to what he was in high school, I'm like, oh, okay, now he's really doing what he needs to do. You know, he's not giving up on anything that may seem hard, right? And he's actually locked in, getting what he needs to get done. All right. So bang, there goes my name and my brother, right? So I'm like, okay. I see it in my mom, see it in my dad, I see it in my brother. So whose turn is it now? It's my turn, right? I'm 18 now, so it's my turn to come into that last name. It's my turn to come into that spotlight, right? And so for me, I figured out that Shaw means when you say you're gonna do something, you do it. And when you set your mind to something, there's nothing in the world that can stop you, right? So that's how I like to attack my day-to-day life, right? If I'm, struggling with a physics test or I don't know, engineering test or whatever, and I'm worried, I'm like, you know what? Now I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna study for however long I need to so I can get this grade and pass this class, right? So basically, overall, Shaw is somebody or someone who, if you say you're gonna do something, if you put your mind to doing something, it's gonna get done. And the time frame is not 5 minutes, maybe a year, but it's gonna get done. And there's nobody in the world that is going to stop you. So that's who Ahmad Shaw is. Go.
That's inspirational, man. And I can't believe you held that for that's huge. That's no, that's crazy. That's one of the really cool things about our talks. Like some days, they're more, I wouldn't even say mundane, but some days conversations are more consistent. There's a pattern, but then sometimes something comes up and life changes. And we learn something new. And it's crazy because there's always more to learn. And when you think you have everything figured out, something comes up. And some either crazy good or crazy bad comes up. And
That's true.
you get to learn from both of those. You get to learn from both of those different scenarios. But definitely Ahmad's last name, that has been something that has helped him, lock in and accomplish his goals over and over again. And whenever, we're going through it, we're talking about our goals, and if he's struggling to achieve it, the first thing he always thinks to say is, I gotta be Shaw. I gotta lock into Shaw. And I think that's something that was really important to me, that he went on that journey to find out what his last name meant, because like him, my entire life I was Jack, and that was it. I was whatever Jack was doing, that was that. And I had pretty much no idea what my last name meant. I always had respect for my last name, because my father, very very influential person in my life. I've looked up to him my entire life, and my grandfather was a Marine. I have other family in the military, and it's just kind of been something that I've always looked up to, the men in my family and the women in my family. But after Ahmad asked, went on this journey to figure out what his last name was, that really inspired me. And I walked down to my dad's office one day, and he's doing work. I just kind of stopped, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, what does the Posey name mean to you?" And he just kind of looked at me. He was taken back. He's like, "Say that again?" And I was like, "What does the Posey name mean to you?" And he's like, "Wow, I was not expecting you to say that." So he kind of sat back in his chair, and he kind of thought. And after a little reflection, he came back to me with 3 words that described what the Posey name means to him, and what he's seen through his father and his grandfather, and everyone that's related to him. And the 3 words that came back were 3 words that I was not surprised to hear at all. And they were loyalty, respect, and honor. And when I thought back on how I was raised and what my dad had done and what my mom and him kind of embodied, and they taught me, my younger brother, and my older sister, it was literally, he said that, and I'm like, wow, like if I could pick three words to summarize what our family stands for, it'd be those three. And for me, honoring those who have come before me is so important because I know I wouldn't be me or where I'm at, and I wouldn't have accomplished the goals I have, or I wouldn't be as motivated as I was if it wasn't for them. With that sense of honor and pride comes a great deal of respect because I know what they have done and all the sacrifices they've made to get me to where I am. And it's one of those things where I've had a great role model system in my family, growing up. And over the years, I've kind of realized how important that family is and how valuable it is to be close and to keep building those relationships, with the people closest to you. And that kind of embodies this sense of loyalty. Like our family is there for each other and we have each other's backs no matter what. And whoever I decide to bring into my family, what, Ahmad, he's my guy. He's a part of that family now because I look out for him. All my closest friends I
Same
consider
here, bro.
family.
Same here.
And it's that thing, like the people I bring in are people I know have a great outlook and are people who I know are going to want to accomplish. Because some from one of our mentors that I hear a lot is, you're always the five closest people to you. That's what makes you you. And that loyalty I have to those five people with my family and with people I've brought in that I've gotten to know, if I'm with those people, I'm going to be loyal with them and I'm going to stick it out with them and I'm going to help them succeed. And I know in return they're going to help me succeed because that's just how the relationship goes. So every day I try to embody those three values with it: honor, respect, and loyalty. And that's what the posing name means for me.
Yes, sir. I like that. I like how you said that. That loyalty piece to it is huge, and it's something that I feel like may sometimes get overlooked. You gotta know who you can always go to, right? No matter what time of day it is, no matter what situation it is, you always gotta know who you can go to. Like, for example, called you. Now we call every day at 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. But I might just call you out the blue and be like, yo, something crazy just happened. Right. And that's a time where we can both just talk, right? And part of this accountability call, part of this friendship is the fact that we are so open, right? There's nothing that we hide from each other. And I'm gonna say that again. We are so open and we don't hide things from each other, right? Because, you could say you want to do this accountability call. Cool, right? But then you could lie, right? And I could lie to Jack, but he would never know.
And that's the thing. How can you have an accountability call if you can't hold yourself accountable to be true?
Exactly. Right. So the biggest thing with these calls is you have to be truthful and you have to understand that, it might not be easy to say, it might come out how you don't want it to come out. But that person on the other side of that call, that person on the other side it's their job to understand what you're saying, put themselves in your shoes, and then take themselves out of your shoes and figure out, okay, how could you have done this better, right? How could you have expressed yourself or whatever situation is, how could you have done it better rather than how you did it? And so throughout these calls and throughout the next couple of episodes, you guys will see, how truthful we really are with each other, right? Because there's no point if we want to try and lie, right? If we're trying to lie to each other, I might as well jump back in bed and call it a day, right? Because you don't get anywhere lying. You really don't. And for us to reach our goals of which becoming professional athletes from the schools that we're at, I'm at a Division III college. Yes, he's at Penn State. He wants to become a professional athlete in lacrosse. It's not easy. There's not going to be easy, and there's not going to be many people that want to be as dedicated as the two of us, right? So for us, we have to be truthful. This is what'll get us there. this call right here, it'll get us there day by day, being truthful to each other and staying on that straight line. So, that is basically what accountability call is and who we are. So yeah, that's all I got.
All I have to say to that, and to your point, and our goals are big, and it's not going to be easy, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter how talented or skilled you are, or how much work ethic you have. Growth is uncomfortable, and no one likes to get uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
As plain human nature.
Yep.
And having somebody to hold you accountable and be with you on that journey helps, because being uncomfortable by yourself and being uncomfortable with somebody else, company is one of the best things that can help, because then you can reflect ideas and talk to each other.
Right.
And one of the biggest things that has really helped me get through this is just having that somebody to talk to, because a lot of us don't realize the experiences we go through, everybody else does too, which is also one of the main reasons why we wanted to put this out there, because I'll say some things like I thought I'm going through something that no other athlete does, no other athlete goes through. And then our very first talk, Ahmad and I hit it off on this one point, which we'll get to another time. But
you can't give them all the goods now.
But the first call we had, I think it was like 2 hours long, just because we were realizing we had all these same struggles and all these like same frustrations. And we were like, oh my God, I didn't think anybody else thought this too. I didn't think anybody else went through this. So just having that other person, or just having somebody else to talk to, or even just listening to us and being able to relate to our stories, whatever helps you achieve your goals, that's what we want to help you with. And that's what we want to help each other with. So Thank you for watching. This has been an interesting first show, and we will definitely continue to keep improving and growing, not only in our goals and our dreams, but also with this.
Exactly. And one other thing I want to say before we get off of this, believe in yourself at all times, right? There's one quote that I've gotten from actually YouTube, and it's a YouTuber. He says all the time, believe before becoming. Right. And without you believing in yourself, without you believing in your own process, you're not going to get anywhere. Right. So before we get off this, that's what I want to leave y'all with. Believe before becoming. So that's all I got.
Believe. I believe.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, again, this is Jack Posey.
Ahmad Shaw.
This is the Accountability Call.
We out. Woo!